Overcast skies, but a dry racetrack have greeted us as we arrive on a Sunday morning here at Road America for part 2 of a GT America powered by AWS doubleheader weekend. Hello, my name is Ryan Marine. Calvin Fish is alongside, and we've got DJ Clark reporting for us down in the pit lane. It was a rainy race one yesterday, Calvin, for GT America powered by AWS, but a fantastic race. Great driving in adverse conditions. Don't expect to see any rain over the 40 minutes here this morning, but as we've learned this weekend, you can't take the forecast at face value.
Yes, looking at radar yesterday didn't really relate to reality in terms of the track conditions, but we did have a thriller yesterday. Justin Rothberg followed up on his win at VIR with a brilliant victory in the rain, but the fast man was James Safronis. Several of the cars had to drive through pit lane for infractions prior to the start, and Safronis was absolutely flying, and consequently he has the pole for today's race with a fast lap. But, championship game is on as well, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out with that dynamic.
It is a shuffled up grid because lap times from race 1 set the grid for race 2 in this championship, and it was done, of course, in wet conditions. Some cars, some drivers thrive in those conditions. Others are still new to racing in the rain. No surprise to see some veterans like Safronis, O'Connell, and Schultes at the front in SRO 3, and yesterday's race winner in GT4, Kurt Swearingen, is set to start on pole in that class. We talk about Road America in reverential terms, and it is truly one of the greats. 14 turns, 4 miles, and a real challenge for car and driver alike.
It's a thriller. It was resurfaced a couple of years ago. The grip level is high now. Low tire degradation, even though it's only a 40-minute race. Typically not a factor anyway, but the grip level's there. It's pretty cool conditions this morning. A few sprinkles going on, so maybe those painted lines could be a little slippery if you run a little bit wide of the line around this course. But we expect a very attacking race here. Johnny O'Connell's on the front row, but that Audi has not had a lot of dry track running this weekend. They lost the first practice session, so it'll be interesting to see how our championship leader will fare this morning and what sort of pace that car will have.
Finished third yesterday behind his championship rival, Jason Daskalos, but Daskalos starts all the way back in 5th today. Jason's got some work to do to get up to O'Connell and try and steal some points back.
Yeah, but I love that because Jason gets his elbows out early, and from 5th on the grid, he recognized he's got to keep chipping away at that championship lead. He did it by 3 points yesterday on Johnny O'Connell. He needs to do the same today. So interesting dynamic. I mean, Safronis could be the man to chase for the win here today. He's got nothing to lose in terms of the championship, so he's going to just be gunning for a victory, and everyone else behind him trying to pick up points. And then the kid, as Johnny O'Connell likes to call him, Justin Rothberg, can he suddenly get his 3rd victory? And he's inching up in this championship. It's tightening up. Johnny O'Connell has a 5-point lead over Daskalos right now, but suddenly Rothberg is only 22 points behind.
And he was outstanding yesterday in the wet, given his relative lack of experience in GT3 cars. It's his first season racing in GT3 coming out of Ferrari Challenge, and he was withstanding not just the pressure that Jason Daskalos was putting on him, but the adverse conditions too, with heavy rain coming throughout the course of that race.
Yeah, we've said it so often this year. His experience, just how he drives, such poise, and doesn't seem to panic when he's under pressure and seems to respond to that pressure. So it's really been fun to watch him develop this year.
In GT4, it's been the season of Isaac Sherman. He had finished no worse than 2nd through the first 8 races of the season, but that changed yesterday. Really the first hiccup that he's had all season long, and no fault of his own, it's worth noting. There was a tire puncture, a cut-down tire, and he had to come to the pit lane. He was able to finish 6th, still has a massive points lead, but it's Kurt Swearingen who has the momentum at the moment. He's won 3 out of the last 5.
Yeah, and he had a big day yesterday. He also won in Pirelli GT4 competition with his teammate there, Kai Van Berlo. So he's on a high right now. He's got a lot of confidence. He had a very fast car yesterday. He is another driver who had to come completely through the pack, haven't had to serve a drive-through like Safronis did, but he caught the leaders in GT4 and got that win yesterday. So he's going to be tough to beat. It's going to be curious to see how those 2 Porsches fare today in dry conditions.
Totally different conditions than we saw yesterday. We will soon see who has the package to beat as we go racing for the 2nd time here this weekend at Road America. The upcoming schedule for GT America powered by AWS, a trip for the first time in a long time for this paddock down to Birmingham, Alabama and Barber Motorsports Park. That will be in September, and then the season finale, of course, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Indy 8-hour in conjunction with the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Always a fun way to close out the season. Engines are fired and the cars are set to roll for the first and only formation lap around this 4-mile circuit. Overcast skies and the chance of precipitation, albeit slight. Again, as we've learned, you do that at your own peril the way this weekend has played out. It's a mixture of cars, the two classes, SRO3, which is a catch-all GT3 category that does include some of the older spec GT3 machines that are technically past their homologation date. We see the Callaway Corvette, for instance, here this weekend that fits that bill. And then GT4, it's what it says on the 10. Straight up SRO GT4 cars, single driver, 40-minute sprint format, great mix, and in many ways a throwback to the traditional World Challenge with mixed class GT racing. So with the cars making their way around, we will soon take a look at the grid. That's a look at Kurt Swearingen right there. He'll have Nick Shanny in this BMW starting alongside. Great qualifying result based on those lap times in the wet for Nick Shanny yesterday, Cal.
Yeah, he finished 4th on the road, but had a very impressive pace. It was a great battle for that final podium spot between he and Todd Parriott. Went right down to the wire, so he's developing well. Had a couple of seasons now under his belt and is really sort of moving his pace forward.
Front row for today's race. James Sofronis desperate to get a win in this partial schedule that he's running this year. Next to the points leader, Johnny O'Connell. Then it's Mirko Schultes, the veteran in the Callaway Corvette. Next to yesterday's winner, Justin Rothberg. Row number 3, Jason Daskalos, second in points. He clawed just that little bit closer yesterday, but has some work to do today. He'll start next to Kyle Washington. Then it's Tim Savage and Jason Bell back in row 4. Row 5, we see Bryson Morris and Elias Sabo. Don't expect either of them to take part in the race today. To the GT4 ranks we go now, and on the pole it is Kurt Swearingen, winner of 3 of the last 5 races in class. Nick Shanny starts alongside. He was 4th yesterday. Gray Newell was the runner-up yesterday, led a lot of that race until he was overtaken on the final lap. Isaac Sherman, the points leader, starts in 4th. Todd Parriott got his first podium of the season in race 1. He'll have the Audi of Farhan Siddiqui starting alongside. And Alan Grossberg in his first weekend driving this McLaren Artura GT4, having previously campaigned a GT2 car in GT America earlier this season. Some drama on the formation lap, we are told. Keep an eye out for the white Porsche here coming through turn 5. And a little tap of the wall there with the left rear.
Got lucky there, just up the rear tires coming through turn 5 and speared it across the road. Light brush with the wall. I think he'll be fine.
Mentioned that DJ is down in the pits for us. Let's bring him in for the first time this morning. Hi, DJ.
Hi, Ryan. And down here on pit lane, I can tell you, as we say in the Midwest, it's fixing to rain here. The air feels a little bit heavier. There's just that little bit of moisture in the air. So I think you're going to see a lot of caution on these opening laps as conditions are not exactly ideal for racing. Rain's holding off for now, but it could come in at any minute.
One Hoosier to another. You're speaking my language there, DJ. Thank you very much, and hopefully you can stay a bit drier today than you did yesterday. Pace car is off, and the field now under the control of the pole sitter, James Sofronis. In his 30th year of racing, made his debut right here at Road America back in 1994 in the predecessor to this SRO paddock and championship. He's on the pole in the blue Audi into the VP acceleration zone, and there is the green flag for the Roval pole winner, James Sofronis. He sprints down towards turn number 1, gets a great getaway. Mirko Schultes looking to follow him through. Johnny O'Connell on the back foot a little bit. Keep an eye on Daskalos in the black and red Mercedes. He needs to get to O'Connell with the championship in mind. Meanwhile, GT4 underway. Great jump with the pole sitter Swearingen. Now it's Gray Newell going side by side with Nick Shanny. Newell will slot in 2nd, and here comes the points leader, Isaac Sherman, up the inside looking for 3rd.
Parriott now down to the inside, has to give it up to Shanny as he squeaks back across. So both our pole sitters, excellent jumps here. Sofronis out front, Johnny O'Connell on the back foot a little bit. Looks like Rothberg's made the big moves early on this opening lap from 4th all the way up to P2.
Yeah, great eye there, Cal. He got that win yesterday, a couple of them actually. He also won in class in Fanatec GT competition despite a spin earlier in the race. Great recovery from him and from that Turner team, looking to make it 3 for 3 on the weekend, and he is starting to reel in the pole sitter Safronis.
He is, and Daskalos, we thought he'd be moving forward. He's actually moved back a spot from his initial grid spot of 5. He runs there in the 6th position as they head through turn 8 and head towards the carousel.
Finished second yesterday did Jason Daskalos in the CRP Racing Mercedes, but on the back foot here. Oh, and a spin. That's Gray Newell out of second place, facing the wrong way.
And turn 8, I wonder if he got some help there or whether he just lit it up on relatively cold tires up front. It is Kurt Swearingen being chased by our championship leader, Isaac Sherman. He's had a really solid first lap here, moved from 4th all the way up to P2 early. We thought it would be a battle between these two Porsches, certainly looking that way early in the race.
Great start from Sherman to get back into a position to contend for a win. I don't think he liked not getting the chance to stand on the podium yesterday. That was the first time.
He's in a bit of a drought for the man who won all those races on the trot to start this season. But he's looking threatening right now. So all of these drivers getting used to these track conditions compared to yesterday, which was pretty much a drying racetrack, but never fully dry in this race anyway. But for some of these guys, they pull double duty, so a lot of experience on the racetrack. Daskalos now on the attack, trying to chase down Carl Washington as they head up to turn 1.
This is a big battle right here for sure. Daskalos needs to make up some positions. He's got to get to the rear of Johnny O'Connell. He picked up 2 points in that points battle yesterday, but now would be in a position to lose some ground. Looks up the inside of Washington, who does see him coming, gives him a wide enough berth. And it's still side-by-side, Cal, at the exit of 3.
Yeah, good respect there. I think Jason looked down to the inside, recognized he wasn't quite far enough ahead, didn't force the issue. For Carl, really good heads-up driving there by opening up the radius a little bit and allowing both cars to coexist there through that tight turn 3.
Battle rages into turn 5 here. Heavy braking zone down the hill. Slowest corner on the track, and it looks like Daskalos got a good run out of it. Pulls alongside of the Porsche at the top of the hill in turn 6 and will take that position away. That leaves Washington vulnerable now to the attacking Tim Savage.
Yeah, Tim's having a really good run, but up front, Rothberg now putting the pressure on our leader, James Safronis.
Saw James last night out on the town in Elkhart Lake, and he said, I am desperate to get this win. He went around and told the championship contenders, look, if you see me coming, you just know I don't have a championship to think about, and I want to get a race win before my season is done.
Some mind games going on. Looked like that Audi was really hooked up there through the carousel.
In the meantime, these two, who have been the class of the GT4 field from the start of the season, continue their scrap that began all the way back at Sonoma. Swearingen winner yesterday here in GT America, as well as Pirelli GT4 America, with an assist from Kai Van Berlo, his co-driver in that 2-driver race format. But Isaac Sherman, what an impressive rookie season it has been. Looks like Rob Holland, the owner of Rotec Racing, might have a star on his hands.
He certainly does. Been super impressive, but that points lead is down to 46. There's still a decent points lead, but Swearingen is cutting into that rapidly over the last couple of race weekends, but it looks like Sherman may have a little bit more pace than him this morning as he closes in
Right
on the
there.
number 7 Porsche there as they come through Billy Mitchell.
Whoa, he looks to the
was
inside. Swearingen sees him coming. This is through turn 14 up onto the front straightaway. And now it's a drag race. Who got the power down first between the 2 Porsche drivers?
That's how it should be done. Beautifully driven there. Both drivers giving each other just enough racing room. That was fun.
Well, these two know each other well this season after racing side by side on multiple occasions. This is the run into turn 1, and it will be Sherman making that move stick to the inside, and he keeps it more or less inside the boundary.
Yeah, I think he was just okay there, so I don't think he'll have to give that one up. Certainly the stewards are on top, particularly in turn 1.
A frantic opening 5.5 minutes here at Road America. Under the Sargento Bridge they come, with now the new leader in the GT4 class, Isaac Sherman. Kurt Swearingen on the back foot, trying to recover. And Todd Perriott up to 3rd. That's where he finished yesterday. This could be a huge weekend for the Flying Lizard driver.
Sherman's car really looks hooked up, Pete. See Swearingen just trying to hang on to him, but his car is dancing around a little bit more on the exit of these corners.
Mentioned the big points lead. Sherman came in with a 63-point advantage. Saw some of that go away by finishing 6th yesterday while Swearingen won, but it's still a healthy margin. These are the points as they run here with just 4 races to go in the championship after this afternoon.
Yeah, it was down to 46 overnight. Now it's back up there a little bit with a 7-point swing between first and second as they run.
Amazing to think that Isaac Sherman came into this weekend with negligible road racing experience. His background was in Legends cars racing. Actually won a championship in the Legends Car World Finals event held at Sonoma Raceway back in 2010. So did do some road racing in the Legends, but also some circle track racing as well. Always wanted to go GT racing, got the chance this year, had a big test over the off season with Rotec Racing. They liked what they saw, and he has been just a phenomenon, really, since debuting. Won the first 7 races in his career.
Yeah, amazing. Rothberg looking, trying to figure out if James Safronis has a weak spot around this 4-mile circuit. Looks like the Audi is really working well through the high-speed carousel turn. Safronis has the experience, Rothberg certainly doesn't, but he's getting more and more confidence as he grabs these big wins over the last couple of race weekends. Safronis having to defend a little bit there. He's conscious of that BMW every single move he makes. This is where the Audi seemed to stretch the BMW a couple of laps ago. Let's see if Rothberg can respond.
And while this is going on, we just got a glimpse of it. Jason Daskalos is clear of Mirko Schultes, and he turned in the fastest lap of the race the last time by 0.6 of a second faster than James Safronis. These are the two fighting for the championship here this year in GT America, powered by AWS. We look at our race vision powered by AWS, giving you an idea of which car, which platform is strongest in which section of the racetrack. 3 sectors, 3 different manufacturers holding the top sector times.
Yeah, Daskalos' car has absolutely come alive. Typically we see him really strong at the beginning and maybe fade a bit, but that's not the case today.
O'Connell's last lap was a 2:08.7. Daskalos ran a 2:08.2, and that has helped him erase the deficit now that he's clear of some of that traffic, including Schultes in Washington, who he fell behind at the start.
Yeah, and the way these points are shaping up has turned into a classic championship battle. Now there's 3 drivers in the mix with Rothberg's performance as he looks for a move down into turn 1. Safronis is rock steady right now, but the kid is putting the pressure on.
Normally, I'd say this is where someone like Rothberg, a rookie at this level, can go to school behind a veteran and a champion like James Safronis. But at this stage in the season, Justin Rothberg seems to have learned just about every lesson there is to learn. As we saw yesterday, when presented with new challenges, he seems to have the answer.
He's
Here he
looking
comes.
for a move. James is just positioning that race car. He's on the curb there. That's going to be a problem. He just keeps it together. Those curbs are going to be a little bit damp. They don't have the same grip level as if you're on the racetrack. So Safronis there being pretty defensive with his lines. I think it was legit, but the stewards will be looking at it for sure.
That gives Safronis a bit of a reprieve. He now pulls out that advantage, and keep an eye on the battle in the background. While we watch this, let's hear more about Justin Rothberg from DJ.
Yeah, Ryan. As he goes off there, as you can see, I talked to the Turner Motorsports team, and they certainly said that what they want to do, they are looking more behind. They want to keep that BMW on the road as much as possible. They want the win, but that's not as important as keeping Daskalos and O'Connell behind them. They are thinking about the championship.
Yeah, thanks, DJ. It's true. They are in the mix now. We've been talking so much about O'Connell and Daskalos here this year, but to your point, Cal, you brought it up earlier, Rothberg, with his recent run of form, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could be there at Indianapolis with the chance to claim the top prize.
Oh, for sure. It's only 22 points, the deficit coming into this race this morning. That was a great save, by the way. A lot of movement there going down into that brake zone. Justin was trying to figure out a way to get inside of James Sofronis, and then he got up on that curb, and he did a nice job of catching it. Now he's got back into his rhythm, and he just laid down the fastest middle sector of the day, and that's 6/10 that he took out of that lead that James Sofronis had, so he's closing back in on the Audi.
Oh, he was definitely right there. This is a look at the team for Jason. He's heaping the pressure on O'Connell. This has been so fun all year long between these two. Fastest lap of the race again the last time by a 2:07.7 for Jason Daskalos in that CRP Racing Mercedes. O'Connell is going to need all of the experience that he's built up over the last 3 decades or so if he's going to keep Daskalos behind.
Oh, Johnny O super deep into that brake zone, as we talked about. They lost the first session here, the real dry session of the weekend, due to a clutch issue, so they've been on the back foot. Then we had the rain, so for Johnny O'Connell and the Ski Autosport team, probably had to throw a setup at this car that they're not absolutely confident with. Johnny's trying to do the best he can. He's hanging on here, and he knows he's got to beat Daskalos, his closest competitor in the championship chase.
First year for Johnny O in this up-to-date new spec Audi GT3 car. They ran an older version of it, this team did in the past, as well as an older Ferrari for part of the season. But for the first time, Ski Autosports has the newest, latest, and greatest from one of the GT3 manufacturers. Here in GT4, some battles on the way. Farhan Siddiqui fighting with Nick Shanny, and Gray Newell trying to recover from his spin, thinking about making it 3 wide in the run to turn 3.
Yeah, track is blocked with race cars right in front of him. He's just trying to figure this out and try and get the momentum through turn 3 and make a move as they come down the moraine sweep.
Newell does put the power down nicely, gets alongside the Audi and even clears him. Now he draws a bead on the BMW of Shanny. Nick covers off the inside. Gray looking to go around the outside. Here they come into the downhill brake zone. Shanny to the inside in the BMW. That's the preferred line. Can Gray make it stick around the outside?
Not quite. Shanny did a really nice job there. Now this is going to get tight. It's really dusty there at the inside. Gray Newell has to be really careful as he goes to the brakes. Now Siddiqui responds around the outside,
which becomes the inside here for turn 7. Again, they go side by side. Siddiqui backs out of it.
Fun little battle here.
Outstanding.
Great to see Shanny getting a little bit racy now as he's gaining more and more confidence.
Working with a new coach and co-driver on the Pirelli GT4 America side of things over the last few weekends. It's Chris Walsh, who we'll see a little bit later on this morning in TC America, powered by Skip Barber. Shanny continues that development into the kink. Not sure that was a legitimate look to pass or just trying to fill the mirrors there on the part of Gray Newell.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to hassle Nick into maybe a mistake there. It's really that he's too far back to think about it. Now this is a late move. Again, he's on the dirty part of the racetrack. Probably the ABS kicking in. Shanny responds around the outside. He'll have the inside for Billy Mitchell. Can Gray Newell clear him? No, he has to give it up.
Still side by side, not quite done yet. Siddiqui wants to get back involved in this. Newell throws it to the inside, drops the right front in the grass. They continue to run side by side at the exit of 14, and this could be 3 wide before it's all said and done. Actually, Newell's able to clear the BMW of Shanny, but he is still vulnerable. Here comes the Audi now, closing in.
It's a fun battle. It's taking a while to sort itself out. I think Newell's got the pace. Once he gets out front, to probably take off a little bit, but he's being hassled all of the time. And most of the time he's on the wrong side of the racetrack in terms of the grip. So Gray's doing a nice job of keeping it together here.
Siddiqui keeps that momentum up around the outside. It continues. I mean, we've been side by side since Canada corner. Little nudge.
Shanny the run.
Looks like Newell finally is clear. In the meantime, the battle is hotting up for the lead again. Sofronis is forced on the defensive with Rothberg hot on his heels.
Yeah, Rothberg has been laying down some really fast lap times, running in the 2:07 range. A couple of laps ago, he set a new fast lap of a 2:07.379. It's 3/4 of a second better pace than what James Sofronis has, but he's got the track position and the lead.
Traffic playing a part in the battle for second and make that third and fourth. O'Connell and Daskalos. Again, Rothberg swings wide to the outside. This time, though, he won't drop a wheel on that painted curb, which is diabolical in the wet, as he learned a few laps ago. Settles back in behind the Audi of Sofronis.
Sofronis done a really nice job. I don't think his car is maybe quite as sharp as that BMW behind him, but he's hanging on here. And for Rothberg, he'd love to get those extra 7 points. That would kind of O'Connell's lead even further if he can make that happen. Daskalos hunting, probing. He had any pace the first couple of laps, and then he suddenly came alive, laid down the race's fastest laps, and now it's kind of plateaued a little bit. That's going to give Johnny O'Connell more and more confidence. If he can keep that Mercedes back there.
That's the Ski Autosports team. Team behind Johnny O'Connell. Seem to edge out just a little bit of a margin there into Canada corner each and every lap. Daskalos not close enough to take a lunge.
Yeah, I mean, as they run right now, Johnny O would increase his championship lead, but it would bring Rothberg right into the picture there, less than 20 points back, as you can see.
That's so cool. That's just amazing to see what Rothberg has done as he learns on the fly over the course of the season. It's been a relatively quick study, but certainly by the midway point of the year, he looks like he is in a position where he can battle with the likes of O'Connell and Daskalos, and clearly here with James Sofronis as well, week in and week out. Doesn't matter the racetrack, it doesn't matter the conditions. He's there ready to fight for a race win.
Yeah, and Johnny O'Connell is just hoping that fellow Audi pilot James Sofronis can keep Justin back there, otherwise those points are going to be even tighter heading to Barber in a few weeks' time.
James running a partial schedule, as he's done the last handful of years. Does have 3 podiums to his name, but it could have been a whole lot more. He was telling me last night, just rattling off all the woulda, coulda, shouldas that he's had over the past few seasons, and this year in particular, where he thinks that there could have been that much anticipated race win.
Traffic up ahead for the leaders. They'll be getting there probably by the time they get through the carousel, I would think. They'll be really close to this GT4 pack.
Which is in a fight of its own, as we've been chronicling over the last few minutes. Although it does seem to have died down somewhat. Gray Newell, as you predicted, has pulled away once he got past Shani and Siddiqui. He now runs by himself in third. Shani, though, still hanging with Farhan in the Fast MD Racing machine.
Look at this Sofronis going to get stymied here a little bit. Rothberg may get a run on him.
Ooh, Siddiqui drops a wheel. That's going to make it really tight. And, oh, man, Rothberg just had to check up there. There was no way to get around those 2 GT4 cars.
That was really tight, both for Sofronis and Rothberg there. Such high speed. You're doing about 150 there through the kink. Ultimately about 162, 163 by the time you get to the brake pedal for Canada corner.
Well, it's aggressive from James to find a way through. And that's what he told us to expect from him here this Sunday morning. He really needs to get that breakthrough win. His son, Jensen's been hassling him. Dad, why haven't you been winning?
Daskalos didn't get a good run through the traffic. You can see O'Connell's gapped him here on this lap. It's going to give Johnny a little bit more breathing room as we're about at the halfway point in this 40-minute sprint.
Sofronis puts Newell in between himself and the pursuing Rothberg, at least temporarily. That's the 3rd place car in the GT4 class. Rothberg clears before turn 3. That will give him a nice clear run onto this long straightaway in the run down to turn 5.
Well, the traffic may give Justin a little bit of an opportunity. He got a little bit dicey there as they head down into Canada corner, but both the leaders eventually got through cleanly.
Just past the halfway mark, Jason Daskalos has been coming back after a slow start. DJ, what have you been hearing?
Yeah, that slow start hampered Jason a little bit, but at the same time, they feel pretty good about where they are. They know the fight in this race is mainly between Johnny O'Connell, and while Jason's dropped back a little bit over the last couple of laps, they said as long as he's in with contention with the last couple of laps in this race, they're going to be happy. They feel they've got the speed in the braking zones and through the corners. They're just losing a little bit on the straightaways.
And that has been the story for the Mercedes over the last few years, and that's part of GT racing with different makes and models, front engine versus mid-engine versus rear engine. You've got naturally aspirated cars as well as forced induction, and the SRO balance of performance creates a platform where the lap times are remarkably equal, but the way the cars make that lap time varies distinctly because of the strengths and weaknesses of the various platforms.
Absolutely, but if you do have straightaway speed here at Road America, it means that you're less vulnerable when you get to those brake zones. So for Johnny O, if the Audi does have a little bit more straightaway speed, that's going to make it a little bit more comfortable in terms of defending that position. Now focus on Rothberg here. You can see the gap at the front. It's been eked out a little bit here on this lap, it looks like, by James Sofronis. They're both laying down personal best, but Sofronis was a couple of tenths better through Sector 2 that time than was Rothberg.
I misspoke a few moments ago. It was Newell in 4th. Perriott still holds the 3rd spot. That's the GT4 Aston that the leaders are closing in on. Sofronis looks like he'll be in a position to make this move, but will Rothberg be able to follow him through?
He's going to have to wait. Perriott whistles through the corner. He does. Justin lost any time there or not, possibly.
Talk about how fast this Road America track is. Average speed around this 4-mile circuit up over 111 miles per hour. And that includes turns like this one, turn 5, where you're down in 1st gear.
You're going about 60 miles an hour through the apex there, but you do get over 160. Amazingly enough, the terminal speed into turn 1, turn 5, and turn 12 is almost identical, and that's about 162 miles an hour if you're not in the draft. I would push it north of that if you were.
The traffic has disrupted some of these battles. Just got a glimpse a moment ago in the background of Mirko Schultes, who has been turning in his best laps of the race when he hasn't been in traffic, and it does look like he might be starting to close in a little bit. This is Schultes in the Callaway Corvette. Might be reeling in Jason Daskalos. Able to clear the traffic without too much trouble here into the kink.
Great to see Mirko back. Not done a full program this year of all of the races, but he certainly chooses the ones he loves, and Road America's right in that vein, I would think, for him. He's got such passion about the way he goes about his racing, just absolutely loves it, and he loves GM power plants as well.
From Freiburg, Germany, and he's been at this for a while. He's raced everything from European NASCAR to prototypes, actually won the FLM class in the Le Mans Series, the predecessor to the World Endurance Championship back in 2011. And that, amazingly enough, was powered by a Chevy block. So he was able to keep that passion for Chevy products even when racing prototypes. Former Petite Le Mans class winner in 2014 as well.
He has his family here on his race weekends, lives down in Florida these days. And still a beautiful car, as you said, a little bit longer in the tooth than some of the other cars that are competing.
Since we're talking about beautiful cars, gotta love the new McLaren Artura GT4. Exciting news in the SRO world involving McLaren. A new single-make series coming next year, which will feature Arturas as well as 570S GT4s. And they'll be joining the SRO package on 5 weekends in 2025.
Yeah, car looks great. I saw some shots from out at Pebble Beach this weekend. Car's on display out there. It looks like to be an exciting single-make championship joining our paddock for next year, as you mentioned.
Now this weekend, this is Alan Grossberg, by the way, driving in GT4. But as I mentioned earlier, he did start the season racing a GT2 car. He's actually done some races in a Mini as well in TC America, so he's run the gamut. And looks like he is on pace to perhaps win the GT2 championship. Unfortunately, this is some drama for Farhan Siddiqui, who had been running up in the top 5. We chronicled that great battle with Gray Newell and Nick Shaney, but the Audi has been forced to come to the pit lane.
Yeah, and he's not up to speed even down the pit lane. Looks like he's crawling here.
Love the graphic on the windshield there, reminiscent of the Cars movies. But unfortunately, it looks like this could be the end of the road today for Farhan and the Fast MD with Rimstar Racing Team.
Daskalos has definitely dropped off the pace here a little bit. I know DJ gave us that report. They just wanted to be close to O'Connell in the last couple of laps, but John is kind of in his own vacuum right now. The two leaders head through turn one. Johnny was about 3.5 seconds back, but he's now got over 3 seconds on Jason Daskalos.
And James Safronis is getting stronger as the race has progressed. He just did his best lap of the race, dipped into the 2:07s for the first time, and was marginally quicker than Justin Rothberg. So maybe he has weathered the storm. There is a chance that this car is set up for the long distance, a long green flag run. Maybe Rothberg in the pursuit has taken some of the sheen off of those Pirelli P0s, but I wouldn't count him out just yet.
No, he's still there within a shot of going for it once again, but I think also with Safronis, when he's able to run his own line and not have to be defensive with Justin being a little bit closer, that obviously gives you some lap time that you had in hand, certainly. So yeah, that last lap was his best, and he pulled a couple of tenths on that lap over Justin, but seems to be tightening up here.
Onto the Speedville Bridge into the carousel. Most technical corner on the track?
It's difficult because it falls away from you, and it's a game of chicken as to when you commit to actually winding it back to full throttle through this kind of what I call maintenance throttle on the entry, and then you're just gradually rolling it in. But as you want the car to respond, suddenly the left front is kind of wanting to give up on you.
Report from the pits is right front puncture for Farhan Siddiqui. We can see him back out on track. In the meantime, Daskalos, you mentioned the pace has fallen off, and here comes Schultes, who is getting stronger and stronger, as is his wont. He has closed in, and Daskalos now, instead of thinking about stealing points away from O'Connell, he's got to be thinking about just hanging on to this position and limiting how much he loses here in race 2.
Mirko is flying. His fast lap is better than our race leader, James Safronis, so that Callaway Corvette has a lot of pace here at this late phase of the race.
They cleared the GT4 traffic, so now it's a straight-up fight between these two. This is for 4th and 5th on the road. The Callaway Corvette sitting in the slipstream. Daskalos will make him go the long way around, but look at the strength of the Corvette in a straight line.
I think Jason's going to send in. Oh, he has to give it up. Mirko really sends it in turn 1. Can he keep it together?
No.
Just got in there with a little bit too much speed. I thought that was pretty aggressive there with the entry speed, and he just didn't have the grip to deal with it.
And Jason's championship life flashed before his eyes, because that very easily could have ended up with two cars colliding.
Well, I thought Jason was going to force it down to the inside. Then when I saw Jason go to the brake pedal, it's like, wow, Mirko was really sent it, and then you could see couldn't quite pull it off.
Can't doubt his commitment, though. Mirko went for it.
In spades.
Good job by Kurt Swearingen, too, to avoid the spinning Corvette. Kurt still holding down 2nd place in GT4. Let's take a look at this again. You called it in real time, Cal.
Yeah, well, I thought Jason was going to push it down the inside, and Mirko just rolled massive speed through the entry there and just couldn't keep the rear tires underneath him. Jason's probably thinking, how does he pull that one off? Well, he couldn't.
Yeah, you don't find many more committed than Jason Daskalos, so you know Mirko was pushing the envelope. The pursuit continues for Justin Rothberg. And again, we did hear from DJ earlier. They're thinking about points, they're thinking about the championship, and Safronis is not who they're fighting. It's all about O'Connell and Daskalos. Now, that said, the swing in points between 1st and 2nd is 25 to 18. That is a substantial difference as Rothberg takes a look up the inside into turn 14.
I think he's just got to be a bit more subtle with some of these moves. He's too far back there to really think about making a move, and ultimately he's just compromising his entry and line through that corner. So I think he just needs to settle down a bit. I'm sure Robbie Foley is on the radio to him, talking him through these various scenarios. You're not going to hassle someone with the experience with James Safronis by placing your car right there. Now, if he's closer and he's going to get brave in the last couple of laps and make a move, that's one thing. But by doing it like that, I just feel you're really compromising your own line through the corner. So we've seen Justin be very poised when he's had the track position. Now this is a different dynamic. Can he suddenly figure out a solution to this puzzle of grabbing the lead?
By going offline there, though, Does he get a sense for the kind of grip that is available to him? So if he has to make a move late in the race, it won't be a total mystery.
Yeah, possibly. That's a good way of thinking about it. Just what sort of grip level do I have there? But I think he's got pace. I mean, if he got in front of the outer, I think maybe he could take off a little bit. But James Safronis' dogged determination here this morning. As you said, you spoke to him last night. He wants this win.
In a big way. Rothberg's season started somewhat slowly, a 6th and a 5th at Sonoma. Picked up a couple of 4th place finishes at Long Beach, but that was his first time racing on a street course. Another 4th in the first race at Sebring, then the breakthrough podium in Sebring race 2, and he's only been off the podium once since then, including 2 wins. Race 1 at VIR, and yesterday picking up that 2nd win of the season in GT America, powered by AWS, and doing it in a driving rainstorm.
Yeah, and that win at VIR was hard fought. Johnny O'Connell, he had a big battle up front. Ultimately had a little bit of contact, and Johnny's car got turned around, and Stewart said that was just good, hard racing. No penalty was coming Justin's way on that one, so he grabbed that first win, but yesterday's win was superb in wet and very tricky conditions with a lot of pressure from behind.
And then doubling up with the win in Fanatec GT as well, despite a spin and slight damage to the rear wing as well.
This is for P3 and GT4. Parriott now feeling the heat from Gray Newell, who's caught up after that little spin earlier in the race.
Yeah, Gray has tracked him down. He's been turning some good laps as of late. Ran a 2:18. That was the fastest GT4 lap of anyone the last time around, and significantly quicker than Parriott at this stage.
Yeah, he's got about a second in pace over the Aston Martin directly in front of him. A little bit of damage there on the tail end of Parriott's car as we see it tails away there. He may have taken a rough road and broken that diffuser a little bit underneath as Gray now looks to the inside. That's in deep. You can hear the ABS kicking in there, searching for grip.
Todd reads it nicely, crosses him back over, and they go door to door again through Billy Mitchell Bend. Up the hill they come, but Parriott gives it up rather than running wide there on corner exit.
Yeah, it's a big commitment by Gray down to the inside.
Now for Gray Newell, still looking for a win here this year, but the results have been good. Only off the podium on a handful of occasions, 3 times so far. And a runner-up result yesterday. That was probably as close as he's been to a win, at least in the second half of the season, where he had it until the final lap.
Yeah, it was tough to keep Kurt Swearingen back with the pace that he had there in those drying conditions.
Rothberg going deep into the bag of tricks because he's gone to the headlight flashers now.
Yeah, I'm sure James just got a big smile on his face when he sees Justin doing that. He's like, come on, kid.
I wonder, I don't know for sure how old Justin is, but my suspicion is he was not born when James Safronis made his debut here in 1994, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a lot of experience, a lifetime of experience.
Yeah, and it's fun to see that dynamic. You know, drivers like Johnny O'Connell have just such great history in our sport, but continue to have the passion to want to race still. Same thing with James Safronis, young kids coming through and learning their craft here.
And he's getting stronger. 5.5 minutes to go, and the battle for the lead is on. Did he sell him a dummy? Looked outside, came inside. Safronis covered him off and keeps it nice and tidy on exit as well, so as not to open the door.
Yeah, James got to be careful there because Justin made the move and James responded to it a little bit. It was subtle. I'm sure the old magnifying glass is out by these stewards right now, watching every move that they make.
Is the team telling Justin to think big picture here or to go for it?
I think just let him race. You know, yeah, you can think about the picture of the championship, but it's such a reward to get the win. Not only in just another victory, but the 7-point swing is massive. Right now, he's just taken 3 points out of Johnny O'Connell's lead. If he gets by Safronis, it's a 10-point swing.
James Safronis wants this desperately, but he's going to have to fight for it. Suppose if he pulls it off, it'll make it all the sweeter. But it is not a done deal yet. Justin Rothberg, the rookie, was marginally quicker on that last lap. Got a great run out of 14. Looked like he had a chance to go for the lead into turn 1, but Sofronis kept him at bay.
Should be this lap plus 2 more, I would think, looking at the clock right now. So see if they encounter any more traffic before they get to the checkered flag. Could that be the differentiator for the win?
This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. O'Connell solidly in 3rd place, looking set to rack up yet another podium. Daskalos just doesn't have the pace to challenge him at this stage.
Yes, Justin keeps looking there. It's a bit more subtle. I like that. Not quite so aggressive in terms of getting all the way to the inside and compromising your line. So he's keeping him honest. He's keeping James on his toes. By doing that, that's probably compromising Sofronis' lap time a little bit, because every single brake zone, every single straightaway is having to think about placing that Audi not in the ideal line for speed.
James is pushing, though. His last lap was within a fraction of a second of his best lap of the race. So he's extracting everything he can out of that Audi. In the meantime, Isaac Sherman continues to show the way, and Race Vision powered by AWS tells you why. Best lap of the race by half a second over another Porsche driver, yesterday's winner, Kurt Swearingen.
Yeah, Rotec Racing came out guns blazing here this morning in terms of pace, that's for sure.
That's 7 straight wins to start the season, really set the table for Isaac Sherman. We're watching him bounce back, putting a disappointing day yesterday out of his mind. Just the next step in his development in his first year of GT racing. Down the hill through Hurry Downs and back to the carousel. Audi versus BMW here at America's National Park of Speed, Road America. Lap and a half to go. Battle for the lead still on.
Team's looking on. The GMG group, seeing what their team boss and leader can do here. Be a huge win for them. James, every time he rocks up here, he's always a factor, always a player for the podium, if not more. But Justin Rothberg is looking menacing still. He's keeping it tight, but time is not on his side now. They'll be seeing the white flag this time by the stripe.
4 championships for James Sofronis, GTS and GTS Sprint X, sweeping both those titles in the years 2017 and 2018. That's before we moved to the current class structure. Those were long-awaited championships, and cathartic for him to get the first one and then back it up with a second. Again, looking a bit vulnerable, though, coming into turn 1. White flag is out. 1 lap to go at Road America, and here comes Rothberg looking for the lead and perhaps the win.
Deep on the brakes. James feints a little bit further to the left, controls his speed through apex nicely. Justin is really close here. Does he stove it down the inside? James is moving around a little bit, takes the middle of the road, and then just kind of does the fade back onto the racing lane.
He did get a warning for blocking a couple of laps ago. You mentioned that move, and the stewards did take notice of it. Another long drag race here. This tends to favor the BMW. James just looking for the right defensive line to take. Rothberg on the headline flashers, can't go around the outside. There's not enough room, and decides to stay behind Sofronis, who goes wide and slides the rear a little bit there at the exit of 5.
Yeah, and Justin's just keeping it very consistent with his lane. He's not moving around. James is having to guess. Final warning for blocking for Sofronis, so he's got to keep it clean on this lap, otherwise he may get dinged after the race.
One more time through Hurry Downs now. The second half of the lap, the Audi has looked a little bit better relative to the BMW compared to the first half. There is some GT4 traffic looming up the road. That could yet play a part in how this race plays out. The clock ticks down to all zeros. The checkered flag will be out the next time around, and it's James Sofronis still leading. Justin Rothberg giving chase.
Yeah, Sofronis absolutely nailed the carousel turn there. Gets around Shani. I think it was an identical spot they saw earlier in this race. But he clears him, and here comes Rothberg deep on the brakes, too far back.
That was his chance. He took a lunge, but couldn't get alongside. Sofronis might be in the clear now. Just a couple of corners to go as he looks for that long-awaited first win of the season. Safronis through turn 14. The man behind GMG Racing runs a partial schedule so he can help look after his customers. They're a busy, busy bunch right now, but Safronis still loves his racing, and he gets that win here at Road America. Safronis holds off Rothberg by 0.3 of a second.
That was a great battle. Used every trick in the book there, Safronis did, to hang on to that victory. Another big points day for Rothberg. It'll tighten up a little bit more on Johnny O's championship lead.
O'Connell hangs on for third. We await Jason Daskalos to come across the line for fourth. And now with half a lap left, it's Isaac Sherman eyeing yet another race win in this remarkable rookie campaign.
Yeah, it's just been a really dominant performance here. The car is hooked up. We saw it when the two Porsches were running kind of nose to tail. That his car just seemed to have a little bit more bite, a little bit more grip on this racetrack here this morning over Kurt Swearingen, and he's put it to great use.
The sound of the race leading Cayman coming into Canada Corner. Supercuts and Pageant on the car. Sponsors for this Rotec Racing team. Isaac Sherman comes from Legends Racing, has made a handful of appearances in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West in his career. Took about a decade away from motorsports, but got this chance to jump in to the Rotec Racing car this year, and he has repaid them in spades. 12 races into his GT4 career, he's scored win number 9. Isaac Sherman back to victory lane here at America's National Park of Speed.
Fantastic run. Really, really great drive. Johnny O'Connell, he's going to be happy with today. I mean, I think he felt he was vulnerable with that championship lead. They've increased it a little bit, but Rothberg is inching up. Still sits in P3 in the points. Daskalos, he'll be a little bit disappointed. I haven't taken some of those points out of the lead yesterday. He returns it today.
But he was able to fend off Mirko Schultes. It looked for a while like he was going to give more points back than he gained yesterday. Instead, it comes out a net neutral, and the championship battle, albeit adding Justin Rothberg into the mix now at just 19 points behind, will continue into the next round at Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama, and from there to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where no doubt we will have a barn burner of a finish to the season. James Safronis gets it done. First win of the season for the former champion, and this is the way they finished at the checkered flag. Safronis over Rothberg by 0.3, then O'Connell some 6 seconds further adrift. Jason Daskalos and Mirko Schultes, the top 5. Kyle Washington, Tim Savage finish 6th and 7th. Isaac Sherman holds off Kurt Swearingen, in fact pulled away after making the pass to get by the pole sitter. Todd Paragot did lose that spot, as we saw, to Gray Newell, who is back on the podium once again. Nick Shaney and Alan Grossberg ahead of Farhan Siddiqui, who had the misfortune, took him out of position to get a decent result here today. As ever, GT America delivers. We had the rain yesterday, dry race today. End result was the same. It was a lot of fun.
It was. I think Justin Rothberg will probably be a little bit frustrated, and I mean, he may be thinking maybe James pulled a few too many tricks there to get the victory, but he dug deep, he got the warnings, he was just on the right side of keeping this victory, I think.
Well, he told us he was going to do what it took to win, and he's a man of his word, James Safronis. Congratulations to James, who is in victory circle here. Looking forward to hearing this interview with the race winner.
Stand up high, get up on the rail.
And Isaac Sherman, too. Curious to hear what he has to say after bouncing back from the misfortune in race 1 yesterday to pick up win number 9.
Finally, in about time, he just shouted.
Yep. Mentioned his son Jensen as his inspiration. We saw Jensen racing in GR Cup at VIR, just 13 years old, but with a big future ahead of him. James Safronis, your winner in race 2 at Road America, and DJ is there to chat with him.
I am indeed. James Sofronis, we just heard you shout, finally. We heard you shout about time. Last night, you were talking to our very own Ryan Marine, and you said, I'm going to do anything to get this victory. Well, you got it here today.
You know, I've been coming here since '94, so this feels good. We've had the pace. We've gotten poles, we've led laps, and I'm like, wow, this year's really bit us. You know, the team's done well, and that's what really matters. I race when I can, when it makes sense for the business, but to get a win here today, I mean, Rothberg, that guy's just coming like a freight train. So the Audi in Sector 2 is amazing. So I just got to hold him out through the kink and then just pray he doesn't get too good of a run. So hats off. He drove great. But the GMG guys did a great job. I mean, we were done at like 7 o'clock, and Kyle treated about 40 of us to dinner. And that's where I saw Ryan, and I said, Ryan, I'm due. I need to make this happen. So at that point, I was like, full blow ahead, head down, and you know, the GMG, Audi, and Kyle, and all the guys, Mobile One, they've supported us since '94. My son is racing GR Cup. I get emotional thinking about it because I so want him to follow my footsteps, but be so much better. And so for me, I'm excited about the prospects of having him come in. So I don't have many years left, so I got to get these wins under my belt. So this is for my wife, Nargis, Chloe, and Jensen. So awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, James. We absolutely love to see it. We're going to make our way back over here because we have got our other victor. That is Isaac Sherman. And in contrast to James Sofronis, who's been able to take only one victory on the year, Isaac, this is becoming a little bit of a habit for you here at this point. You had to fight there with Kurt Swearingen, but a great run for you.
Yeah, thank you. It's been an amazing time here. I mean, the weather, it was a little rainy, but we didn't get too many laps in. But at the end, like, we just kind of felt at home in the track and took home the win today. So I'm super excited.
Well, we're super excited for you. Patting the championship, you got to start looking towards it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, we lost a little points yesterday, sadly, but just trying to capitalize on whatever we can and try to maintain a lead. So.
All right, well, he's maintaining that lead for sure. Isaac, congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Big smile on his face. He's loving this chance to go racing here in 2024. And it's been a wonderful season for Isaac Sherman and Rotec Racing. Here are the GT4 points at the end of race 2. Provisional, of course, pending official results. But Isaac Sherman has a healthy advantage over Kurt Swearingen. Gray Newell solidly in the 3rd spot. But Perriot and Shanny, that could be a fun battle the rest of the year for 4th and 5th. Look back at a dramatic second race of the weekend. James Sofronis from pole position and a fellow Audi runner, Johnny O'Connell, alongside at the drop of the green flag. Pole sitter in GT4 was Kurt Swearingen. Gray Newell giving chase, but the championship leader, Isaac Sherman, charging through the field from the drop of the green. Run down to turn 5 on lap 1. Always dramatic. Spin here at the exit of 6. Gray Newell had a great job to recover from that spin in an all-green flag race. Battle for the lead in GT4. Swearingen lost the spot to Sherman. Meanwhile, the fight for the lead in SRO 3, that might have been as close as Rothberg got. Just dropped a wheel on the wet paint and nearly lost the car. He was able to recover, however. Shanny, Newell, Siddiqui, what a fight this was in the top 5. In the meantime, Mirko Schultes and Jason Daskalos going side by side. Looked like Schultes had the 4th spot, had the spin, ultimately finished in 5th. The win today to James Sofronis in SRO 3, and in the GT4 ranks, Isaac Sherman leaves Road America with his 9th win of the season.